Hello, BookTube. I have a bit of a Friday MegaStuff video for you here. A whole bunch of little things that really won't make a whole video on their own. Little bits and pieces. And of course, the first one of those is babies. I put out the call a while ago for you to send me pictures of your Shakespeare in preparation for ShakeTube 2020, which is coming up right around the corner. And I mentioned that you could do the decent and include pictures of your dogs as well. And several of you sent me not only pictures of your Shakespeare and pictures of your dogs, but pictures of your dogs with your Shakespeare. And there were also backsliders. There were people who sent me pictures of their cats with their Shakespeare, even though I don't just play for the other team. I'm the captain of the other team. And we want to start off today with one of those. Look at the size of that creature. That is not one of those novelty little collected Shakespeares. That's a full-size collected Shakespeare hardcover. And the cat standing next to it is enormous, dwarfs it completely. Horrifying. And we have another cat. This cat is laying on a field of blue. This cat, unfortunately, is no longer with us. And the owner is the blue. The owner tells me that this cat rested on her chest while she was reading every day for 19 years. In the same position. And then once the reading was over, the cat would go off and do its own thing. But I think that's just incredible. And it makes me wonder if your animals read with you. And if they know that reading time is separate, a special kind of time from anything else. I've had beagles that definitely knew that something was different going on. And they like the fact that reading time, one of your hands just automatically pets. If you have a pet that's resting on you or near you, one of your hand will just automatically do that. I suspect that's why it's so popular with them. But then from the same sender comes a dog picture that is the dog picture of the day. This is just incredible. Look at that. That picture is everything that cats hate about dogs. And in addition to baby pictures, I thought I would also give you an update on this room. Those of you who maybe haven't had your tedium shot for today, this will do just fine. This little book room of mine is a rectangle. The practical-minded people, Mark Richardson would be much better at estimating these things than I am. I think it's probably about 10 feet by 15 feet. I could stand it to be a lot smaller, but it is still a small space, and it's a rectangle. And that is just fine, but jutting off that rectangle about 7 feet deep and about 10 feet tall is just a 4-foot wide closet. An enormous closet. That I don't have enough stuff, and I don't care enough about the stuff I have that isn't books to warrant a closet like that. I filled it with miscellaneous junk for a long time, as people do with closets. But then one day I decided, no, what I want to do is clear out all that junk and get rid of it. Get rid of all the stuff I don't need. And when I did that, I realized I was so close to the closet being empty that I just emptied it and closed the door and put a bookcase in front of it. Oh, did you hear me mentioning babies? My own little baby heard me mentioning babies. You could impress everybody by going inside your little house. That's not going to happen, though, is it? Do you want to get down? You don't seem like you want to get down. You're so sweet. So, to make a long story slightly less long, I have decided to close off that closet again. I'm going to fill it with stuff that I don't necessarily want to get rid of, but that I don't touch on a yearly basis. Stuff that is a possession, but they're long-term possessions. I'm going to make sure that they're nice and orderly. I'm going to make sure I know what's in there. I'll take a photo, and then I'm going to seal it off and put a bookcase in front of it, maybe 2 bookcases in front of it to just call the experiment over. I gave it a try. It didn't really work out. I couldn't make a reading nook out of it. I couldn't use it in any other way. So I'm just going to close it off. There's no reason for heat to be going into that space when there's nothing in there. The only problem is manpower, because my boys are not free this weekend. And none of the young weightlifters that I have access to are free this weekend. And that is naturally tempting me to do this job myself, and I absolutely should not. The key is, I could probably do it all myself if I did it in extremely parceled out implements. So in other words, an item into the closet, another item later on, once I'm long since forgotten it and come back to it, another item, to gradually be constantly doing that. Step number 1 is that the closet needs to be full of all the stuff that's going to go in there. Then step number 2 is that the bookcase that's currently jutting out in front of it has to be emptied and then moved. Step number 3, all the stuff that's on the floor between the bed and the door of the closet, it's just a a foot of space, that all that stuff has to be picked up and moved so that space is clear. Then the next step is to upend the bed and then swing the door closed and then clean the floor and then put a bookcase in that space. Just wedge a bookcase down between the floor, between the bed and the wall. And all of those things as individual steps, modular steps, are doable. It's just it will take a lot longer. The luxury of having young teenagers here, or young weightlifters in their 20s, is that all the work is done in 20 minutes. And that is very nice. That is very tempting. I'm going to have to make sure I resist that temptation. And I guess under the vague heading of resisting temptation, I have no new updates on my new mailman. I have seen him from afar. Frida and I have glimpsed him from afar, great distances, so that Frida doesn't even know that he's there, and she's busy yelling at other people. But our paths haven't actually crossed again. But although I haven't crossed paths with the mailman or the mail boy, I have mail. I thought we'd finish up this MegaStuff video with mail. I've got 3 packages here. 1 cardboard and 2 manila envelopes. And I don't know about the manila envelopes. I don't know what they are. They don't give me a vibe of coming from a publisher at all. The cardboard thing definitely does. This one is definitely a book. But Bean is not interested. Okay, what is this? This is from Other Press. Good publisher. This is Straight from the Horse's Mouth by Mariam Aloui. Translated by Emma Ramadan. Coming out as a paperback original in mid-September. One of Arab Lit's 10 recommended books for 2020. I didn't know there was such a thing as Arab Lit. I'll have to look that up. See. This is Straight from the Horse's Mouth. Love the type font there. Yes, just love it. Takes you a minute to realize that it's English. So what have we got here? Moroccan female novelist Mariam Aloui emerges from a breakthrough English language debut in Straight from the Horse's Mouth. Once a nominee for the Goncourt and already generating international acclaim, the novel employs the author's wit to cast daily life in the margins of Casablanca into sharp focus, told in diaristic dispatches from the perspective of Jamia, a vivacious 30-something sex worker and mother. This unique novel illuminates the underbelly of Morocco few are privy to. Okay, I'm sold. All right, and this is the author currently lives in Morocco, and this is a mid-September book. I could theoretically add this to my TBR this weekend. Won't take any time to read. I'm deeply curious, so that could go on the TBR this weekend. I'll be mulling about my TBR this weekend in a different video today. But then we've got these other packages. I'm not 100% sure about them. Like one of them here is just taped like the end of the world, which is usually something that ordinary civilians do. Publishers don't usually do it because a little-known secret of mailing books is that okay, this is just not going to come. It's barricaded in here. Is that a little-known secret of mailing books is that a little usually goes a long way, especially if you're mailing it in America, to someplace else in America. You don't need to just mummify the thing in tape. I mean, here I'm using scissors, and this is still resisting me. It's still not coming. So I have had it happen where, especially small publishers, people at small publishers would do that. They would take one of those industrial balers of clear plastic tape and just wrap the product over and over and over again until I was practically getting a football. And I have had cases over the years where I would get a package like that and just throw it out. Whether it's here or whether it was at the old post office box in Kenmore Square where I used to pick up my mail. If I get something like that, I think, okay, I'm just going to throw this out here I'm not going to bother with it because it would take me an hour and a half to get through. It would take me an hour and a half to open this thing, and no book is worth that. So, but this one happened fairly quickly. What have we got here? No, this is from a publisher. Yeah, it's from Hackett Publishing. It's got a pub sheet and everything. So, oh my, oh goodness gracious, gee! And I was just talking about ShakeTube. Wow. How impressive. Okay, this is the sheet listed for the fall. Nothing more specific than that. This is a fully annotated edition of Coriolanus. Look at that. Edited with an introduction and notes by John Blitz. Intended for a wide audience, this edition of Shakespeare's Tragedy of Coriolanus differs from other such editions by focusing upon ancient sources to highlight the play's setting during the founding of the Roman Republic. In doing so, it sheds new light on both the action of the play and the historical political significance of its setting. Wow. Big, serious, wow, look at that. A big, serious, annotated edition of Coriolanus. Fantastic. This will probably be the edition of Coriolanus that I just keep. Wow. Okay. All right, well, that is a perfect setup for ShakeTube. Absolutely. And then we have this last package. The last package is also a manila envelope. It doesn't even feel like a book, and it doesn't seem like it comes from a publisher. So I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna. Oh, okay. This is a little early. Oh my, very nice. Okay, this last one is not a book. Very nice. This is a phone. A new cell phone. This is an iPhone 6. Yes, this is an iPhone 6, which is the same as the backup iPhone. So do I have an example? I do, Frida. This is my iPhone 7S. Still haven't been able to throw it away. I haven't brought myself to throw it away. I was still telling myself that someday it's just going to come alive again. This is my iPhone 7S. You can see it's enormously bigger than the 6. Just enormously bigger in every way. Almost a different kind of machine. And it bricked on me. Just died, went dead. The buttons don't depress. Just nothing at all. Out of the blue. I was using it that morning. And from 1 minute to the next, it just went completely dead. It's not like there was a surge of power. It wasn't like I tried anything special or new. So I took the SIM card out of it and put that SIM card into my old iPhone, which was an iPhone 6. And it worked just fine. Always a good idea to have a backup cell phone that works just fine. That you just, so that if you put a SIM card in and power it up, it's going to be just fine. It's always good to have that. And I've been using that iPhone for all of the indispensable little things that we use iPhones for. I'd be the first person to admit that the iPhone has wormed its way into being essential for me. Even though I don't make phone calls and I don't receive them. even so, it doesn't matter. I've grown to like the 21st century luxury of having a phone that has a camera at all times. I can take pictures of anything I see. I use my phone as a watch. I'm not a tobacco addict, so I don't have a big, huge metal and leather ostentatious analog watch that's de rigueur for drug addicts, but I don't have one. Why would I? And all the rest of it. With an iPhone, you can put a little suite of basic apps on there. You can put Voxer on there. You can put a weather app on there. You can put Instagram on there. And no matter how much I structure my time, and no matter how valuable I find my time, every minute of it, having those little things as tiny little stopgaps can be wonderful. In other words, the iPhone is the thing that I need, even if I wasn't going to use it to film. And I wasn't going to use my iPhone 6 to film because it has like 15 gigs of storage. And the operating system alone eats up 10 of those. And then if you narrow it down to just the bare minimum of apps, I got rid of all the mail, all the email apps on there. I got rid of everything, basically everything except YouTube, because I was using the YouTube app to upload the videos I was filming. I still didn't have room for more than 1 or 2 videos at a time. And I was thinking, well, okay, the iPhone 7S is a magnificent machine, but it's a little big. You can't type on it with one hand, for instance. You can't manipulate it easily with one hand. Whereas the iPhone 6 is a perfect size for a phone. Just fits perfectly in the hand. And I was thinking, well, but you have to get an iPhone 7 because you're going to need you're going to need the storage. You're going to go back to filming videos on an iPhone. You're going to need the storage. And then I had one of those bolt from the blue moments that happen to pre-internet people all the time. I thought, well, you could just get an iPhone 6 with more storage. So that's what I did. I went online and ordered an iPhone 6 with a lot more storage. This will hold any amount of videos that I would want to put on it. I don't keep my videos anyway. I routinely delete them, so it doesn't have to hold everything. But this, if it works, this should solve everything. I don't know. I got this from an internet marketplace, so I don't know if it has power. Oh no, it does have power. It is powering up. All right, so what I will have to do. Okay, this is not a phone, man. This is great though. It came early. What I will have to do is swap out the SIM card, set this all up, and then with any luck, I won't be dealing with this kind of light readjustment. I'll just have a cell phone to take videos on, because videos are one of the other things that a cell phone is for. I mean, this little device is really good for a small number of things that no other little device is good for. I have a number of tablets. It's not the same. So fantastic. Okay. Okay, great. This has a small amount of power. I will charge this. I will charge this up to 100% and then spend the requisite hour. How many of you have gone through that hour? I will spend the requisite hour just making this phone my own, just making it making it all the settings, make sure all the settings are right, customize it just for myself for all the stuff that I want it to do. Fantastic. Okay, great. All right, so that is your MegaStuff video. We have baby pictures. We have a couple of updates, the room update being the most tedious one. I need to get this done because in no time at all it's going to be winter. In no time at all I'm going to be taking, or not me, but I'm going to have somebody take the AC unit out of the window, and I'm going in no time at all. It's going to seems right now like it's a long way off on the calendar, but in no time at all I'm going to want to make sure that that space is not taking any of the heat that comes into this room. So I should get it done. I can do some of the preliminary stuff myself. I can move stuff, books off shelves, books off the floor myself. And that'll be a start for when my boys are available. And then we also had books. 2 new books. Straight from the Horse's Mouth, which is Morocco fiction. And a new annotated edition of Coriolanus. I'm up for both of these things. I don't know when the Coriolanus date is specifically, but I'm up for both of them. Great. Okay, so that is your Friday MegaStuff video. But I will be back. We have plenty of other stuff to talk about. I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.